Hello, I'm David Roger, General Counsel for Las Vegas Police Protective Association. Before we get started with this video, I'd like to welcome all the other law enforcement agencies that are watching these videos. We have received calls from Henderson Police Department, North Las Vegas Police Department, and I'm sure there are others who are watching it as well. And so, welcome. And of course, if you have questions, I can't comment on your department's policy, but I'm happy to answer your legal questions, and my contact information will be at the end of this video. So in this video, I'd like to talk to you about a question that was posed recently. A crime was committed, a witness was present, patrol officers were there, and a specialty detective told the officers to detain the witnesses. And one of the witnesses did not want to be detained and wanted to leave. And so there was discussion between the detectives and the sergeant about whether there was legal authority to detain a witness. Obviously, the witness has not committed a crime. And the detective said, well, you can detain them as a material witness. And so the question is, who's right? Before we get started with the answer, let me just say this. Some of the legal answers that I give may not be popular. And understand where I'm coming from. I was a prosecutor for 25 years in the Clark County District Attorney's Office, the last 9 of which I was the elected district attorney. Prior to that, I was in the Major Violators Unit. I tried a lot of cases, and I worked very closely with all of the police departments. And so I understand how difficult it is to get witnesses to cooperate and even show up in court. But my role today is your lawyer, to act as your lawyer and as your counselor, and to talk to you about what the law provides. And in the end, I hope to keep you out of IAB and out of the courtroom, whether you're sued civilly for violating someone's civil rights or being, God forbid, criminally prosecuted. And so when I do these videos, I want you to understand the parameters, and if you decide to push the envelope, so be it. But at least you know what the law is. And understand that in federal court, if a judge finds that you have violated a clearly established law, the judge could determine that you're not entitled to qualified immunity, which means that you have to sit in court as a defendant in a civil case. Nobody wants to do that. And of course, in a previous video, I shared with you the case of some Mongol associates who were detained by Metro officers, and a federal judge found that they were detained too long and denied to issue qualified immunity to the officers. And so with that said, let's dig into this issue. And so witnesses are no different than suspects, in as much as they have a right not to be detained unless you have reasonable suspicion to believe that they have committed a crime. So obviously, Nevada statute, Terry versus Ohio, allows you to detain a person you suspect of committing a crime. But a witness has rights not to be detained as well if they don't want to. And so unless you have reason to believe, articulable facts to establish that the witness is a co-conspirator or has committed a crime, you can't detain them. You can use your best effort to convince them to stick around. We don't use ask, tell, make anymore, but use whatever you need to convince them to stick around. But if they refuse, despite your best efforts, there's nothing you can do about it. The material witness issue that the detective mentioned is really NRS 178.494. That is a statute that we use to get material witness warrants. And that statute allows a prosecutor to submit an affidavit to a judge indicating that the witness is material and that it is not practicable to get the person into court. And if the court agrees, then the court issues a warrant for the witness, and then you go out and arrest the individual. But there is no PC material witness issue. And so in the end, do your very best to convince witnesses to cooperate, to stick around to speak with detectives. But if they are not willing to stick around despite your best efforts, then you may not detain them legally. I hope that answers that issue and provides some clarity. As always, contact me at droger@lvppa.com with legal issues dealing with your profession or otherwise. If you have a relative or someone who has been involved in an accident, whatever the case may be, feel free to give me a call. And if I can't answer your questions, I will direct you to an attorney. Thank you. Please make sure to check out the mobile-friendly website. You can access it on your phone. It has links to legal resources, the criminal offense handbook, and the traffic citation guide. And of course, contact me at any time at my email address. And if you have questions about criminal issues or other legal issues, I'll do my best to answer your questions. And of course, the PPA 24-hour cell phone is listed as well.